Welcome back to BCpov. I'm Eric, and I'm currently stuck in the desert. I had planned to come out to the desert to find a nice spot to film this video, and I managed to get the van stuck. So while I wait for the tow truck to come and pull me out, let's talk about 2021. Basically, year 2 of the pandemic. But luckily for us, coronaviruses have very little effect on riding bikes, and that's what we did all year. But as we rolled out of 2020 and into 2021, that was a little bit in doubt.
Oh! Oh!
I had broken my wrist the fall previous, and my wrists and fingers were so stiff I could barely hold on to the bars. Oh yeah, wrist still hurts. In spite of this, I still had a lot of work to do on my trail, Stone Starlet. As it turns out, trail work is great physical therapy. Digging berms and dragging out logs and nailing together ladder bridges had a great effect on my fingers and my wrists. They were strong in no time. It also meant that the trail saw a lot of progress. I'd added the Can't Cedar Landing drop, the not too slabby rock jump, the big dumb ride around, the huck fin and the step up after it, and a step down to tabletop jump, which finished off the trail. It was time to invite some friends out to test out the trail, which went well for the most part. Woo.
I was looking at the rock, I'm like, look at that rock.
Oh! Nice! Okay, well, I'm glad you're okay.
I got squidded now too.
Yeah. Yukon and I would also get new bikes. I would visit my friend Brian in Kelowna and pick up a DV8 Highlander, a high pivot trail bike. And Yuka would get a Santa Cruz Bronson, a mullet, which would be perfect for her height. And both bikes have been performing flawlessly. With the trail pretty much complete, I was keen to get out of Dodge and do some riding. But just before we were about to leave, I went and did this. The result would be 2 broken fingers and 4 weeks off the bike. But we left anyways and headed north in search of Alaska. Yuka would take over the filming duties.
Hi there, you Eric?
Yeah, I'm Eric. Nice to meet you. So I got it pretty stuck. All right, so we had a bit of an impromptu collab there from a YouTube channel called Matt's Off-Road Recovery. Did not know it was gonna be another YouTube channel coming to pull me out. I looked them up. They've almost got 1 million subscribers, and the whole channel is basically pulling people out of sandy holes like I got into. Yeah, anyways, check out Matt's Off-Road Recovery, and maybe I'll appear on their channel as well. But anyways, let's get back to the story of 2021. So we left off, we had just left on our trip, my fingers were broken, but then they did eventually heal, and it was a good point to be riding again because there's all these new trails I'd never ridden before in northern BC. And thank goodness for that, the trails up there were awesome. Places like Prince George with the crazy wooden features, Burns Lake with the super long flow trails, so fun, and Terrace with the big alpine hike-a-bike adventure. But northern BC wasn't quite far enough north for us yet, and we continued north into the Yukon, which had its own amazing adventures as well. And the big highlight there would be Carcross with this big adventure into the alpine. Past all these old mining ruins. And then down this amazing single track called Mountain Hero. Whitehorse kept us on our toes with some interesting rocks to get sketchy on. And then we continued north to the epicenter of the gold rush, Dawson City. The city, well, it's more of a town or a village, is really steeped in history with the old boat and dredge and all that kind of cool mining stuff. And then the mountain overlooking the town had one of the better blue flow trails I'd ever ridden, even if I had to share it with some of the local wildlife.
Grouse! Holy crap!
But that was as far as we could go. Our goal of getting to Alaska would be delayed due to a continually closed border. The year also saw our jumping abilities progress by leaps and bounds. Last year we spent a lot of time at an indoor bike park called Air Rec, and it featured mulch landings and an airbag. For the first time, we would dare to take our hands off the bars in the air. And it wouldn't be long before we were throwing toboggans. Yeah! And no footers.
Oh, nice.
The next big progression for me would be at the Worcester Bike Park. My goal was to clear Dirt Merchant, a pro-line jump trail. The biggest obstacles were 2 large drops and the massive step up. The day started out tentatively with my failure to clear a step up onto a container. But after some A-line gaps, I regained my confidence and I returned to Dirt Merchant, working on one feature at a time.
Oh yeah, that was fun!
Oh, I'm glad I did that. Gee, I was a little nervous. I went over, I'm like, oh my God.
And eventually, I managed to clear the whole thing. The thing with a bike park though is that everything's a tabletop. There's no real gap jumps. So to practice those, we traveled to Kamloops to visit the bike ranch. At the top of the hill, there were 6 big gap jumps waiting for us. And by working together, Trevor, Yukon, and I managed to clear them all.
Oh my God, sketchy! That was sketchy!
Why?
But the next feature would be a big, slow drop. Yuka and I were pretty uncomfortable with hucking our meat off the thing, but she did eventually do it.
No heroes allowed.
Nice!
But for me, it took a lot of mental gymnastics before I would actually go and try it.
Oh, I didn't do it. Ah!
Oh my God.
Now. Okay, I did it.
But things were starting to get cold and rainy in Canada, and we decided to travel south over the newly opened border. And with my newfound confidence, we headed straight for a trail called Johnny Royale, a trail filled with massive gap jumps and all these things I couldn't do in the past. And with the goal to clear all the features, things were going well.
Yeah!
Until this happened.
Why did I do that?
After that crash, the mental battle I had with myself was probably one of the worst I've ever had.
What's wrong with me?
But it was a battle I eventually won.
Jumping over it. Jumping off. Yeah!
And although it was a victory, it was an emotional one. So that brings us to this moment right now. What do we have planned for 2022? Well, next summer we'd really like to make it to Alaska if the border's still open. And as for really right now, well, we're in the Utah desert and there's plenty of good riding, and I'm sure that'll make its way into our videos coming up. And maybe in the mid to near future, we'll get back to Stone Starlet and possibly add a couple more features there. But as always, thanks for watching and stay gnarly.